lọ́wọ́ wa lára àwọn egbògi wa tó ń jáde náà láti rí ẹ̀fà flusher tó wà fún ìpòrò ìfojú tó lè máa dára láàmú tó lè máa da ẹ̀jẹ̀ láàmú ara ń ta ni ara ń jáde jẹ nìkan sọ kúlúkúlú náà ara nìkan rìn káàkiri ara ni tàbí èèyàn jẹun jù inú ẹkún lákún jù téèyàn ò rí gbọ̀nsẹ̀ dáadáa ẹ̀fà flusher dáa fún lára àwọn egbògi tó ń jáde nílé iṣẹ́ wa láti rí ẹ̀fà power ilé tí máa ń pè ní márùgbó takí bí sàgbàdìwé òun lẹ́gbògi tá a ṣe fún lílo ọkùnrin nìkan tí ń jẹ́ kọkùnrin ó lè máa ta pọ́npọ́n dáadáa ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ máa pè òun náà ní 08056 39862 08056 39862 iléeṣẹ́ evergreen hospital wà ní sẹ́ńtà àgbòrò nọ́mbà 17 princess street ní sẹ́ńtà àgbòrò lọ́rin a wà ní gànìkì 107 university road níkọjá táǹkẹ́ roundabout ibẹ̀ ní iléeṣẹ́ evergreen wà ní táǹkẹ́ ní gànìkì a wà ní tẹ́sàkó bus stop ẹ bá ti gbọ́kadà ẹlẹ́ni lọ sí orẹ́mi tea house láwọn ibi tí ẹ ti máa rí iléeṣẹ́ wa ní ẹ ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ń tẹ́tí sí wa.
Royal FM 95.1. We are premier. We are royal. Royal FM 95.1. We set the pace.
Hey.
Children growing, women producing, men.
Here we go. You're listening to the home of dubstep.
Let's get down to it.
Let's get on.
I'ma make you always feel like that girl.
My music. The music is awesome.
Let's go.
The number one station.
Anytime.
All the time. I listen all day.
1, 2, 3.
All my girls at the party, look at that body, shaking that thing like you never did see. Got a nice package on.
The mix.
Let's go. Variety is a big part of our presentation.
Balance and an array of choices is what we offer on Royal FM 95.1.
I'm gonna get 3. Okay. And I'll see what you want to do. It's exactly 5 minutes past 9 a.m. Magnificent Monday morning, the 23rd of August, 2021. We say a very good morning to you and hello to the rest of the world. This is Royal FM radio station, and we're broadcasting live from the International Media Center here in the Ilori, Kwara State, Nigeria. I hope the weekend was great, and of course, we thank God for the early morning downpour. Please drive carefully if you're on the road. Some pretty wet there, and just be safe out there. So it's going to be a very, very good week for you and I. Exactly 5 past 9. It is time for you to join the conversation, to air your views and share your thoughts on stories that are making major headlines across Nigeria. To do that, please give us a call on 0810-8501-371. Again, that's 0810-8501-371. WhatsApp is available 09035 595857. 09035595857. This is the News Rendezvous, the program that gives you the opportunity to have your say, to discuss, debate, and talk about stories that are trending, and of course, some of the ones that are on the lips of many Nigerians. But please, there are simple rules that must be observed on the program. The News Rendezvous is not a platform to insult anyone without comment. It is a platform to share fake news, as all news items shared here must be verifiable and that must be credible. You're absolutely free to criticize. We appreciate if it's those criticisms are constructive enough. And of course, some views expressed on the program is not in any way the position of Royal FM radio station. My name is Dayo. Adeyemi, and I welcome you to the News Rendezvous this morning. A lot of interesting stories to touch on within the hour. So let's get right into the conversation. My guest is seated, and let's welcome Adeyemi Adiola, FCPA, and of course, some public affairs analyst. It's good to have you, Mr. Adeyemi. Welcome to the program, and it's always refreshing to sit and have conversations about Nigeria with you. How was the weekend?
Fine, my brother. Good morning, Nigeria.
Did you watch football?
No,
No,
funny
really.
enough.
Well, you watch the Super Eagles in action whenever we have a game.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Okay.
My best sport is wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
But you don't look it. You don't look it physically.
Yeah,
But
but
you know.
inside me.
Oh, well, you might be very mighty and strong on the inside. Anyways, it's good to be on the show, and of course, it's good to have Adeyemi Adiola. 7 gone past 9 o'clock. Don't forget 08108501371. That's the number to call, and you can leave a message on WhatsApp 09035595856. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube/Royal FM, and of course, you can check Royal TV as well too. You can watch us live on YouTube. Let's get right into the conversation. Now, the governors have demanded 42%, revenue allocation, with the federal government keeping only 35% of the revenue, according to the Federation. Ekiti State Governor and Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Mr. Kayode Afayemi, I beg your pardon, disclosed this in a keynote address at the National Dialogue and Book Presentation at Abuja. Governor Afayemi said that some events in the country were indicative of the fact that the idea of remaking Nigeria or restructuring was an idea whose time has come. He also opposed, dismantling the country or redrawing it along different tracks. In his words, I quote, it says, revenue collection and sharing, the position of the Nigerian Governors Forum, to which I subscribe, is that the sharing formula should be reviewed in favor of the state, especially given the arguments of devolved responsibility to the subnationals. In the context of the proposed new federal structure, governors have argued and agreed for a formula along the lines of 42% to state, 35% to the federal, and 2.3% to local governments. The governor said the federal system has not served the best interests of Nigerians, with the issues of devolution of power, decentralization, and true federalism, among others, becoming thorny at every time. And the big question is, a lot of people are saying that, well, it's a good thing to review the sharing formula, but 42% going to the states, and 35% to the federal government, and 2.3% to local government. But the question a lot of people are asking and interested in knowing is, first, how much have state government done with the current allocation that is due them from the federation accounts? Mr. Adeoju.
Yeah, thank you, my brother. Good morning, one time again, Nigeria. You see, the issue of governance and public policy, there's no way you don't need money if you want a good public output from any set of the governance, either federal, state, or local. And thank God Nigeria is a federal state. And federation means that the central government and the component states automatically, the federal government, the state government, and the local government are supposed to share the resources that is available. And going through constitution, it is mandated that every 5 years, there's supposed to be a review of the sharing formula from the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission. Yeah. And the present one we are using now I think it came up during Obasanjo regime around 1999 to 2007. That is during Obasanjo regime. But by 2011, another one was proposed. The funnest part of it is that those that proposed those ones are still state governors then. And most of these state governors now are part of the federal cabinet as a minister. Chief Rotimi Amechi happened to be the chairman governors forum then from Rivers State, and Baba today Raji Fasola, who is now the minister of works now, is also part of the system. He is the one that even shared the system then, while Rotimi Amechi happened to be member of the cabinet as a chairman of governors forum. They came out with the formula that is being agreed upon presently now by Fayemi, that the states should be given 42%. The federal should go for 35 from 52.68. God bless you. And the states should move from 26.7 or thereabout to 42, while local government should be move up. Even the one I even read, they say local government should go for 23, not 2.3, the way you said it. And local government used to be 20.6 or 7 thereabout before. So there should be an upward movement for the state and local government, while there should be downward movement for the federal government. And they said the reason for the same reason that we deemed pedestrian then happen to be the same reason they use now. That the population increase, they have to cater for a lot of people, decay in infrastructural facility, the issue of insecurity, and the minimum wage. Those are the points they put up then. Adeyemi also says the same thing now, that this thing should be done. Yes, my stake there is that the little that has been given to them, you know, I said it, there's no problem increasing revenue for either of the tiers of government for them to have a good public policy. But by the time they were having the lowest amount, we had a lot of governors, past and present, being alleged of misappropriation of funds in billions. You understand? Now, if they now increase it, how will they manage it? So I will have employed a system that will manage the money for them. And we have the system on ground already, which is the law, but it is not being used. If we have that law that is being used, they will have monitored a lot of them. One. Two, apart from putting up a straight law, the local governments need to be respected. By the time they were fighting for this thing now, I never heard of Noge or Agon saying anything as a tiers of government. It is the state government that are fighting for the local government. And this is a separate tier of government. And even Adeyemi was saying devolution of power. Devolution means that everybody should stand on its own to be able to speak for themselves. Why are you now speaking for the local government? And you are telling us that local government is not under the state government. And when you need resources, you will say they are part of you. Now, when you spend the money and you want to account for it, you say it's the local government. Now tell me, which of the local government do you even have a sitting chairman now? Who are those? Are those people there now are constitutional enough to say that we need a review of you understand? Absolutely. This is part of what I put into consideration, that if at all, I support the 42%, but with two conditions. Number one, the rate of spending should be monitored adequately. Yeah, they said that a lot of money has been spent by the state. Apart from federal government, you know, state, policing is an exclusive list of the central government. And the state government was saying, apart from the uniform and salary, the state government has been the one doing any other thing for the state. So as a result, as chief security officer of the state, if the revenue is increased, they will be able to monitor all these things and the issue of this security. I agree, quite all right with them. But how are they going to spend this money with the adequate law? That is my stake. Then secondly, the local government should not be at the armpit of the state government. Right. They should separate them as a separate tier of government, so that if they misappropriate any fund, the EFCC will know who to handle. That is my take on it.
Now, if we go by your summation that you're in support of an upward review of the sharing formula in the country, and if that the federal government is reviewed downward to what is being proposed, 35% from the 56, current formula for current share for the federal government. Don't you think the federal government will not be able to carry out a lot of capital projects?
Yeah, thank you. If, like I used to say something, if you have local government, every local government fall under a particular state. Every state is within the region of a particular federal government. Tell me, if federal government is embarking on a particular project in Kwara State, for instance, we have Kwara State government, and coupled with most of the federal projects has been a counterpart fund these days between the state and the federal one. Two, sometimes the state government will tell you that they did a lot of infrastructure on the federal road, and the federal government need to repay them. There is no problem about that. Now, which of the road do you think is a federal road that doesn't pass through any state? Which of the company the federal government want to set up, either in partnership or solely, that will not fall under the territory of the particular state and local government? So I begin to look at it, apart from the federal parastatal that is being paid upon, If you look at different lists that we have exclusive list, concurrent list, and residual list. The residual list is the list that embody both the local, the state, and the. If you look at the concurrent list, the concurrent list supersede the exclusive list of the federal government. Apart from the policing, electricity used to be the sole activities of the central government before, but these days it has even become the responsibility of an individual, because a lot of people are on solar now. They don't even mind. And some people that are even on fabrication, they are using gen. So I want to tell you that the federal government can cut off their responsibility. I know at the end of the day, they may not give them 42 as is being said, because sometimes Fayemi even say 47% so that they'll be able to get to the 40. But I believe with whatever amount that is being given to the federal government, if they put a sincerity of purpose in the spending, honestly, 35% is enough for them to maintain.
All right, and like you said, there should be a proper mechanism put in place, so monitor the spendings, from states. How do you think that can work, and or what benefit will it be to civil servants? Do you think that there'll be more infrastructure in states, and then civil servants will get what is duly theirs?
Yeah, that is the purpose of the state governors. But as far as I'm concerned, I presently now I talk less on proposal. I believe on reality. If there is a good monitoring, two people will monitor it. The law will monitor it by federal establishment, and the public will also monitor it. And that is why we are advocating for open governance. If there is open governance and the FOI, Freedom of Information Bill, is being passed, there is no way the citizen will not confirm what is going on in their domain. The amount of the job, the qualities of the job will be monitored by everybody. But if that one is not there, giving them this money, I don't think an appropriate monitoring will be in place.
Right.
But if this two-way approach is being given the way it's expected, honestly, there will be a perfect monitoring.
All right. Some people have the opinion that well, it's going to breed more, embezzlement, from states, governments across the federation, and across some little or nothing will be done by the federal government. What is your view on that particular story? And the governors forum under the chairmanship of the Ekiti State Governor, His Excellency Kayode Fayemi, is proposing a 42% revenue allocation, to states, and 35%, for revenue sharing according to the federal government, and 23 to local governments. So what is your take on that? And that absolutely means that the allocation to states will be increased by 42%, and that of the federal government will be reduced to 35%. What is your take on this? Just like I guess Adeyemi says, well, he's of different opinions. He says, well, he supports that, but it feels a proper monitoring team should be on ground to watch how governors spend this particular money. A lot of people feel and believe that well, it is going to increase embezzlement by state officials. What is your take? Let's share your custom. Let's have your views and perspective on this particular one. 08108501371. That's the number. And you can leave your comments on WhatsApp as well to 09035595857. We'll take a very short break at this point, but we'll come back to discuss another interesting story. This is the News Rendezvous. Keep it 95.1. Don't forget it's 08108501371. 08108501371. And WhatsApp is 09035595857. We'll be right back after this very short timeout. Thank you, sir. Welcome back. And the news Rendezvous on One FM radio station. Exactly 21 minutes come past 9 a.m. It's Monday, the 23rd of August, 2021. Program that gives you the opportunity to have your say and discuss that are trending and concern that affects you and I as citizens of this country. The news Rendezvous Monday and Friday, exclusive to Royal 95.1 FM. And I have my guest, Dayo Adiola, with us in the studio and concern the public affairs analyst, and we're discussing, stories trending. We discussed the, the the submission by the Ekiti State Governor and Chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Excellency Kayode Fayemi, and disclosing in a keynote address that the National Dialogue and Representation Abuja and Governor Fayemi, says that he's proposing that there should be a review of the sharing formula between the states and the federal and local government. Is proposing downward review for the federal governments and an upward review 42% to state government and 23 to local governments. A lot of people are asking what have they done with the current 26.72% and that is accrued to them. And we've seen a whole lot of embezzlement, just like Adiola mentioned. And because some people say that well, if this is reviewed to 42%, there will be room for more embezzlement. What is your take? What do you think about this? 081 or 8501 371. Let's get to another interesting story. A former aviation minister, Femi Fani-Kayode, has hit back at critics who lampooned him for attending President Muhammadu Buhari's son Yusuf's wedding to Zara in Kano on Friday. Now, his bride is the daughter of the Emir of Bechi, Nasir Adobayero. Mr. Fani-Kayode came under intense criticism after he posted a photo of himself on social media upon arriving in Kano on Thursday to attend the high-octane wedding ceremony. Several politicians, parties, stalwarts, and personalities. Of course, some were at the wedding. No fewer than 20 private jets landed at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport en route to the wedding. Among the dignitaries who attended the event were former President Goodluck Jonathan, former President of the Nigeria Republic Muhammadu Isufu, governors, government officials, and federal lawmakers. The State Governor Abdullah Umar Ganduje, it's a State Governor the Fire Media, the State Governor Mayama Labuni, Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, is a Pantami, also attended the wedding. However, the photo of former Aviation Minister Fani Kayode shaking Mr. Pantami is what has got the critics talking non-stop. Now, shortly after the arrival in Kano, he described Mr. Pantami as a friend and a brother. I think that it is a pleasure and joy to be at the ceremony. And his critics say this was despite his consistent criticism of the perceived poor performance of the president in office and also of Mr. Pantam, who recently counted unfavorable public backlash of a comment he made in the past, which many Nigerians viewed as portraying him as a religious fanatic. Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode critics reminded him that just months ago he described Mr. Pantami as a religious bigot, an ethnic supremacist, and an unrepentant jihadist over and also a lover of bloodshed. Now, in quick response, Mr. Fani Kayode responded saying that his faith teaches him to forgive those who express regret about their past actions and utterances and to be at peace with many as possible. Yes. And he says, I quote, are you still foaming in the mouth? Because I shook hands with Isa Pantami. Keep foaming and let your blood pressure go higher. What a man.
Wow.
What a situation.
Actually,
your reaction?
My brother, I would have said it's a private matter, anything that involves Fani Kayode, because he's no more a public man, but we want to maintain relevancy. But it has now become a public issue because Pantami is a serving minister. President Muhammadu Buhari, man, the event that took place embodied a public people. So that is why I would like to dwell on it. You see, Fani Kayode has become controversial right from the day. You know, he's the son of the late Fani Power. His father is also a politician in the First Republic, 1962 operation, where he is a very popular man. Only the father took a particular dimension to be popular, but the son now took another dimension. And for you to remember that it's very controversial. There was a time he won the court case, and he quickly went to go and change his name from Femi Fani Kayode to Olufemi Olukayode. Maybe because he didn't do the ceremony very well, he has forgotten about that rename, sorry. And there was a time he even said this particular guy that is doing wedding, the son of president. There was a time he had an accident, a bike accident. Fani Kayode was mocking this guy. Somebody you wish to die there, you now went to go and sit down on his party. Probably if you were given food, you would eat. I believe that. And he said a lot about Pantami, that the situation looked unforgiving. But he said because Pantami has repent, he is ready to, because of his own religious faith, I mean, he is ready to forgive him. I look at everything as our leaders have taken politics to be business in this country. And that is why they are trying to put up every means to make everybody a mediocre, so that you don't have your way out. Having a kind of intellectual malnutrition, because a situation where you have potential and you cannot harness your potential, you understand, you are already intellectually paralyzed. And that is what they want to maintain. A particular set of people want to begin to be relevant. Even somebody in the Southwest is also as controversial as Fani Kayode, but the person maybe decided to Iba Nation, which is the former Ekiti State governor. Fire say, you know, they normally go hand in hand in order to boost, but probably because of one reason or the other. But this man we are talking about now, I don't take him more serious, especially when he came out to embarrass a particular a journalist. When that one asked a particular question, that where do you get money to move around on this reconciliation, whatever you are doing all over the country with patrolling, he laughed the guy, and the guy finally took victory at the end of the day. And you remember Obasanjo said something. He said, Fani Kayode is my boy. Give him food, he will sing and praise you. I think that has come to pass now. You can see him praising somebody that he has already condemned. He even told President Muhammadu Buhari to remove this pantami of a man that he does not fit to be a minister. The person is now your friend now. That is why I want all Nigerians who have potential to harness. Don't be delayed with the political system, with what is happening in the political cloud. Build yourself, be focused on what you want to do, and try to have a good somebody that you take as a footstep. Somebody who is very rational, who is very consistent, not somebody who will say left and right today, tomorrow is front and back. No. And that is why we are having problem in our public policy. That is how you know the kind of people we are appointing. If somebody like Fani Kayode has become a serving minister one time, and is still aspiring to go for one position or the other in Nigeria, you can see what is happening with our youth. I will say this because I dream for a better Nigeria. I dream for a Nigeria that is good more than what we are facing now. And that is why I say these people are taking politics to be business. And tomorrow now, if you see him in another Igbo land doing something funny, criticizing somebody and embracing that person, there was a time he visited Sunday Igboho in the south. Right. What is the correlation between Sunday Igboho issue and Nigeria unity? But this man did that because he wants to maintain relevancy. He's looking for an avenue to get himself in the windows of politics. My take on that is just summarily, we should take Fani Kayode and the likes of Fani Kayode as somebody who is taking Nigeria politics to be business as usual.
All right, just in line with what you're saying, because a lot of people believe that there shouldn't be so much, belief in the politicians, that most of the things that we see, the criticism, the backlashes here, and the public fight, that is just a public show. Do you support that?
Yeah, that is it. If it's not a public show, I will leave. It has even become a drama to Fani Kayode, because he came out and he said that those people that are criticizing him will have a kind of blood pressure if they didn't maintain status quo. These are the people you come out that you need their vote at the end of the day. That is why I want people to know what they are doing, and that is why I use that phrase that they are taking politics to be business. That is it today.
All right, we'll take a very short break and then we'll come back. We'll discuss some stories coming from Kwara. Yeah. Well, I kill him. I kill him. I kill him. Momo. Momo. Welcome back. 32 minutes gone past 9 a.m. We're broadcasting live from the International Media Center in Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. And this is the news around the globe. Don't forget you can join the conversation. Do give us a call on 08108501371. Again, that's 08108501371. What story is catching your attention that you want to talk about? Some this morning, bring it on the news. Wonderful. Leave a message on WhatsApp 09035595857. Let's discuss some stories here in Kwara. Now, the Kwara State chapter of the People's Democratic and officials of the state government have disagreed over the cooperative collecting 35 billion naira bond from the Central Bank of Nigeria. While the state government insisted that it needed the funds for infrastructural development, the main opposition party argued that all the All Progressives Congress led administration was embarking on was reckless borrowing. Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Rafi Odakai, said everyone complains that Kwara remains too dependent on handouts from the center. Now the bond will fund some ongoing projects to completion and do a whole lot. Some of the projects to be completed with 35 billion of our bond, according to the Chief Press Secretary. Mr. Rafi Odakai is to the Kwara State University campuses at Osi and Elisha Baruba. I mentioned the Elisha Guanara Road and a few other projects there. But the PDP, in a statement by State Publicity Secretary Tunde Ashalu, said the public outcry that has greeted the government's planned borrowing has shown that majority of Kwarans were not in support of this plan. Though he says that they are not against borrowing to fund infrastructure, the state government has, however, not demonstrated any sincerity, transparency, and accountability on the issue as the whole process has been shrouded in secrecy. Mr. Adeojo, when it comes to borrowing, by states, if you go through, the statements from the government and that the reaction of the PDP, I'm pretty sure you have. But when Nigerians hear borrowing, when citizens hear borrowing, what comes to mind is, whoa, this is going to put us in another debt, and we are going to pay through our nose. Is that a situation, or it should be different, or is it that as a result of mismanagement's lack of trust, from government officials, that's the reason people have that different perspective and view about borrowing to fund capital projects.
You see, this issue of borrowing, to start with, I love anything that goes with public policy, either in the wider world, Africa, Nigeria, and Kwara State in particular. And any government of a nation, especially, let's domesticate everything in Nigeria. If Nigerian government need money, any form or any tiers of government, they either go through the grant or subvention that normally come on monthly basis. That is the first one. Two, they can go through IDR and other investments. That is three. The third one is loan. So there is nothing bad in somebody going, especially government, going on borrowing. Even the federal government, sometimes during COVID-19, went on borrowing probably, and they even did the borrowing on something I don't appreciate, that is payment of salary. What will they generate for you? Why can't you have a reserve? But this issue of 35 billion, we have had a lot of paperwork on it, especially the PDP right from day one, who happen to be an opposition, have been saying a lot of things that the government should not endanger the futures of Kwara State people by going on borrowing. Then many non-governmental organizations like KEF, Kwara, whatever voice, and the Kwara Consultative Forum as an NGO also say something about it. Even I could remember NSU, who wrote the State House of Assembly early this year, to be specific around February, that they should explain what they want to do with such an amount of money, of which a reply came to NSU, which was public. They say, because NSU wrote that there are two types of borrowing they want to engage in. The 6 billion that will be a part of money to augment 2021 budget, and the 35 billion that is expected as a fund. And when the reply came, we read it there that the 6 billion is going to be, will come from the financial institution, and they want to use it for capital projects, that is according to the explanation in 2021 budget. And the bond, which is 35 billion, is coming from the capital market. And they said a lot of things they want to use the money for, which I will go on it in a brief, because I believe in action now, not paperwork this time around. And those are the things that NSU also asked that what are the qualities of the job? What kind of job do they want to use this money for? Who are those people, the contractor and the supervisor for the job? All these things were being asked. And House of Assembly replied NSU that they should go to the debt management office at the Federal Ministry of Finance and Planning in Kwara State. They will get the information there. And for you, back to the FYB, that is part of what we are saying. And if you look at a particular write-up, I wouldn't remember the person that wrote it, but I have it. It said Kwara State borrowing is amounting to 63 point something billion, the debt profile. And we are in number 25 out of the 36 states of the Federation. That if this 35 billion join, we are going to move to number 15 or thereabouts, which I still believe we have 1 to 14 there. These are the fear of the people. But by the time the state government through Malam Rafiu Ajakaye put up their write-up, I'm trying to go to the lane before I put up my mind on it. The CPS said that the 35 billion will be spent in 3 areas. The first area is on infrastructure, and 30 billion has been designed to embark on it. And the purpose of the infrastructure, according to me, is that we need to increase our IGR in Kwara State. Increasing the IGR, they don't want burden to come on the citizens. So as a result of that, if the infrastructure is there, investment will come up, and they will be able to tax other people rather than, because presently now, what Lagos is generating in a month is what Kwara is getting in a year. And thank God, by the time they came out with 2020 publication on internally generated revenue, I think we have about 19 point something. In 2020, we have about 19 point something billion that we generate automatically. We are moving. That is one aspect. We want to spend 13 billion out of 35 billion on infrastructure, and for the reason as we said, that another 7 billion out of it will be spent on agriculture. That the kind of agriculture they want to embark on is a different form of agriculture. They call it, I will remember the name, that somebody in Canada will be able to monitor his farm. If you invest in Kwara, you see your proceeds, everything, you'll be able to monitor it. Virtual farming, that is what they call it. That is what they want to embark on, a 70 billion, and they need to be a kind of a modern system. Then making 20 billion. Another 15, the rest 15 billion will be spent on education, health, and probably entertainment and what have you. And under the education, just like you have read, that other campuses across the senatorial district will be established. I look at this as a good proposal, but if I've not been dwelling on a Nigerian proposal before. Honestly, I would have fallen in love. But I've read a lot of paperwork with many
and that's the concern to many Nigerians, and particularly Kwarans at this time, because this paperwork, this intentions are always beautiful on paper, but a lot of Nigerians wait for the implementation and see nothing. So they worry about the money being borrowed constantly by government,
and that is what we normally say on public policy. As a public analyst, that implementation is the crucial stage of any policy. But the government doesn't believe that. Because now, a particular policy came up some time ago in Kwara. They call it RAM. That is Rural Agriculture and Marketing Project. It is a tripartite event between World Bank, federal government, and any state that want to key in the something. About 13 states key in it. Kwara State happens to be one of it. They want to expand the rural road. Honestly, I wrote a position paper on this. I thought this would be a fantastic something. Up to today, go to rural area, it has not been big job. And that is what we are saying about policy and reality. So when you talk of policy, you talk of effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness is all this paperwork. Efficiency is the result of that policy. And we have not been getting enough. That is why most of the Kwara were like, there should be a public hearing on this kind of a thing. And probably during the public hearing, though the public will have their say, the government will have their way at the end of the day because they won't derive from where they are going. But probably the public might have even given some opinion that will lead to a rationale in this borrowing, that the borrow may not even be up to that level because people will say, oh, let us annex this particular area, something will come up. And there are a lot of people that are ready to make a sacrifice, and that is why we are talking of open government. Open government embodies a lot of things. It even entails a private person working up to the government policy and give his own idea, because we are running democracy. But now, when a government now begins to look like me and my cabinet, people will raise eyebrows, and I believe if the public hearing has come openly to everybody, the agitation will not be the way it is, and people's mind will even be at rest that at least we have a sense of belonging on where our money is to be spent. Actually, let me say that period of 8 years will be repaid the money, and probably I think it has even been signed because the money will be taken out of the
monthly allocation.
The monthly allocation.
That's great. If you look at the states. I think the first quarter of 2021, the states made about 10 billion in internally generated revenue. How do you think the payback, system will be very, very easy and will be a burden on the government? Because they say that repayments is 7 years, and they make first deposit and another, much later. But looking at the space of 7 years, and this is about 2.5 years into this administration, or 2 years into the administration, he has 2 years, for his first term, for the first term. If eventually peradventure, how do you think it will be very, very easy for the government to repay back this loan in 7 years?
Even the hidden,
and then it won't affect anything.
Yeah, even the hidden factor that you're supposed to say is an ordinary man that goes to the bank to make a borrowing. If you take a loan from bank, there used to be policy, and some policy stand to be hidden. You may not even know probably an oversight or not until when you get into it. And the one that is even open is that the longer the payment, the greater the interest. And some people want to elongate payment in order for you to be relieved in a way that instead of me paying so amount per month, let me even make it lesser than our amount I'm paying. But the interest is increasing. But if you want to pay on time, you don't want the time to be long, automatically you use your sweat to pay it. And as a result of that, what people were even looking at is that 8 years, more than 2 years has gone, 7 to 8 years, more than 2 years has gone out of this administration. And you want to mortgage such a thing, it has been a cabinet issue, not to the public. How would the payment come up with the internally generated revenue that is very meager? 16 local governments, 193 words. Development will have to come around across. God bless you. How do you want to maintain it? But because there's no adequate public hearing and information on it, you can only say what you read on the pages of the paper, and one need to be extremely careful on what he says. If you cannot substantiate your fact, you will not say it. So probably they have gotten an avenue where the money will be repaid, or probably after today we may still see another rejoinder of the write-up that will explain to us that this is the situation on ground that will make the thing to be paid. Because by next year now, election campaign will come in. A lot of money will still go to that. And unforeseen circumstances, like we never pray for the kind of fraud that happened the other time. The money has been decided to be spent on a particular thing. A particular amount will go out of the subvention to repay on monthly basis. Where do you want to prepare yourself for an unforeseen circumstances if eventually it come up? So these are the things that the public were like, at least there must be a kind of public hearing and consultation must come in between the domain. After all, it is public money. You are doing this for the public. You understand? Though government may think that at the end of the day, when you allow people to exercise their rights under democracy, with a lot of democracy of mouth, they may derail from what they want to do. But I still believe government will have their way, we will have our say, and everybody will be able to know that I have been sensitized on what is about coming up, and it is my state, we need development. Though I believe one thing, we are not condemning government action. If this money can, all those developmental projects come into place, it is for the Quran, and everybody will enjoy it. But our fear is that we have gotten golden paperwork without transformation to reality.
All right. We'll take a very short break at this point, and then we'll give Quarans a chance to pick it up from there and join the conversation. What is your take? All that we've talked about on the program, it is time for you to join the conversation and give your perspective. We'll be right back after this very short break.
Let's see.
Welcome back. I'm the News Rendezvous, the most interesting patch of the program, and that is where you get a chance to join the conversation, to share your views, and of course, take a position on stories shared this morning, talked on this morning, or any other story that you want to bring and to talk about on the News Rendezvous. If you have further questions, or maybe you want on the News Rendezvous, let's talk about it. 081-85013, that's our number, and 09035 595857. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and go straight to the point. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. It's Abdul coming from Zango.
Abdul from Zongo, it's good to have you. Welcome to the News Rendezvous.
Thank you because of that. I want to that is that whether we want it or not, there are good women and taking that money. But what I want to do, what I feel like is doing our economy in Nigeria is that most of the politicians, when it's for the money, we carry the money overseas. Any work we want to give out for the money, I want to appeal to the government of Ghana to let not less than 75% of the contract reside here in Kwara, so that at least that one, the money will not realize in this state. Thank you.
All righty. It says, well, the government takes that decision before actually coming out to the public, but also pleading to the government to please employ local contractors so that way the money can circulate around the state. 081-850-1371. That's the number to call to be part of our program this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the News Rendezvous. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Shola Alata from Baba. Good morning,
all right, Mr. Shola, welcome.
Okay, I just want to put my on about the borrowers and type firstly. Well, from my own perspective, I think we can't borrow money from salary out, or we can't borrow money from infrastructure. So, let us
Thank you so very much for that. Sharp 08108501371. That's the number to call to be part of our program this morning. And 09035595857. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name? Welcome to the News Rendezvous.
This is Bamdili from Tanke.
Bamdili from Tanke. It's good to have you. You have a
The
minute.
issue of federal allocation, 42% to state, well, it was okay. As the next step, if it is well monitored. But the order of the day, where we have corporate corruption, because they are excess money in the federal. So, how are we sure that this will not happen to the state? So that's the question.
And that's the question we're asking, because we have this excess money still around, still at the federal, at the central level, and then come to state government as well too. Won't we have this excess with a proper, monitoring, team on ground to see that these monies are
Proper accountability.
properly accounted for? That's the question that we're asking this morning. 0818501. The bond the classic government is trying to enter into. It's not the first. It happened happened when CASA was being conceived, and the last local government funds were taken for repayments. Do you have proofs for this? But anyways, Kayode, thank you for the contribution this morning. Says we've seen a repeat of what goes on around the country. This contribution is Fani Kayode says, former Minister Fani Kayode, what a man. All right, that's what he says. He says, good morning, Dayo and the guests. My contribution on this matter is that on the sharing formula of revenue, my own objective is 45 for federal government, 35 for state government, 20 for local government. And Fani Kayode politics is not about fighting. There's no permanent friend or enemy in politics. And Core PDP, the current are seeing the job of the money government forward. They should wait for another time. God bless one from Quara and across the entire country. 081850137. Let's see if we can take one more call and then we'll wind down on the program for today. 081850137 and 09035595857. While we're with the calls, my guest has been Adeyemi Adeola, FCPA. He's a public affairs analyst. Your parting shots before we just conclude on the program.
We just like to say that our 3-point discussion today is on finance and public policy. The issue of 42%, the issue of borrowing, and even the issue of marriage, because those people that went there were doing business for recognition. I only want to appeal to our politicians. They should please, and please. The issue of public spending should be something that will give Nigeria a good future. We should stop the idea of traveling up and down. We have a hospital that needs to be done. We have a road that needs to be a standard one, something that will not, after 2-3 years, the road will be something else. And we should try as much as possible recognize local government as a tier of government in Nigeria.
All righty. I guess that's been Adeyemi Adeola, FCPA. And that's the program for today. Many thanks for your contributions and, of course, some for the calls as well. So thank you, Adeyemi, for coming on the program. The News Rendezvous continues on different platforms all through the week. Don't forget, we have another, time to talk conversations about Nigeria on Wednesday. That's Speak Now Niger, and the News Rendezvous back on Friday with Femi Tunde Okola. My name is Dayo Adeyemi. I'll catch you again on Monday. Have an amazing week. Bye for now. Wow.
5.1. We are Premier. We are Royal.
What does music on Royal FM remind you of?
It's just like water, it rushes over you.
It's like the wind, it sweeps over you.
Like
Stop.